Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to cimnanya, and thank you all so much for all the love and support. Hope you all are doing great. So today we'll be talking something very important, and it's about pump colored people coming out to say that there is what they call reverse racism and all that. So what brought about that reverse racism? You all remember that? Okay, I think probably on Naya seen about a video of pump colored man coming out to say call the 10 blackest names. And black people were like, wait, how did you come about 10 blackest name? Because you are not black. And what made you determine that, these names are the blackest black names and all that? A lot of people found that very offensive. A lot of people told him that, no, you are really going for and all that. And so somebody actually went out to drop a comment on a black woman's name saying that black people are right to the season and the rest of it. And so the woman was like, okay, reverse racism game, let's try it. If that is what you want to say, because we said that we do not want people going around doing blackest names because we are not comfortable with it and all that. So reverse racism, let's play the game. What if you guys will come back to wherever you are, Europe and other places, take you all back to wherever, Africa or some other places, and then make you all work in the plantation, strip up your names, your cultures and all that. Then we'll be talking. You know what? Let's get into this.
You want to do the reverse racism thing? Okay, we could do that. I like this game. Okay, first up, we're gonna do it play all the way. Okay, here's what you guys have to do. You're gonna first on the list. You're gonna have to let us enslave you, enslave all of you. We're gonna have to enslave all of you. Okay, we're gonna enslave you, and then we're gonna enslave your children and your children's children and your children's children. Okay, and here's the first thing we're gonna do on that list. On the list of when we enslave you, we're gonna make you forget all your native names. We're gonna beat the fuck out of you so you can no longer even speak your native language. Okay, we're gonna beat your names. You're no longer gonna be Edwards, no Liz, no John. Okay, none of that shit. Okay, I don't know who the fuck is John. Okay, when 50 lashes you say John again. Okay, these are gonna be your new names. Mayua, Opeyemi, Opi, Chinye Ramin, Ladipo, Mayua, Lade, Ise, Se Tayua, Kiende, Sei, okay, Punu, Kutu, Pushu, Nuo, Lapu. Those are going to be your names. And then we're going to add all the closer names, okay? The closer names too, okay? That means you're going to have to learn to fucking click, okay? You're going to have to learn to do that shit with your mouth, okay? You're going to learn to fucking click. I swear to God, if you don't fucking click your shit, you're going to have to learn to fucking do the click, okay? You better fucking do your mouth like this. Cut your mouth like this. Okay, you're gonna have to learn to do that shit, okay? I don't want to hear nothing about no Rebecca. I don't want to hear no fucking Henry out your fucking mouth. You better forget that shit, okay? I don't want to ever hear Henry out of your mouth, okay? And you better pass that shit along, because I'm gonna name your children too. Just names, okay? We're gonna name your children too, okay? Ninya, Ikinya, okay? Oyowe, Ibele, Oyowe, Ife, okay? That's gonna be your children's names. Remember that shit, okay? Remember that shit. You got that shit? You got it? Learn that shit. If you don't, 50 lashes on your fucking back. And your children, actually, your children after that, okay? Your children gonna have to name their children that shit, okay? Ain't nobody gonna remember a fucking thing. None of y'all gonna remember a fucking thing about no James, okay? I don't want to hear another Samantha out your fucking mouth, okay? And not only you, your children's children and your children's children, okay? That's gonna be your names. You will no longer remember anything about no Cynthia or Karen, no Cynthia, no none of that shit, okay? No Cynthia, no Karen, no none of that shit, okay? After that shit, after y'all get off the plantation, by the way, eventually your descendants gonna only have them names that I just gave you to pick from. That's all they gonna have, because like I said, we beat the fuck out of you for the names, okay? Like I said, to reverse this, you're gonna have to let us beat the fuck out of you to forget all them fucking names, okay? Okay, that's what we're gonna have to do. And then your descendants gonna have the name. And then one day, one of us gonna get on the fucking internet, okay? And somebody said they said on CNN. One of us gonna get on here, we're gonna get on the fucking internet and say this shit. Whitest names for girls and boys, and we're gonna list all them names. We're gonna list all the names that I just gave. Whitest names for girls and boys, and that's gonna be the fucking list of the names, including all the close names that I gave, including them close names. Okay, now think about that. Do that make fucking sense when you see that shit, whitest names, okay? That would be the reverse racism that you're trying to play. But here's the thing. Y'all won't ever let us do this shit, okay? If you want us to do that shit, don't let us racism you. You won't let us slave you. Not that we would, because it's you black people with the numbers we have. If we wanted to, we would. If we wanted to, we would. And if we could, we would. But we don't. You know why? Because something that's really cool within humanity called empathy, okay, my guy? It's humanity, and it's called empathy, okay? Not only that, why would we want to do that? You want to do that shit, okay? Because what y'all about to do outside? You can't even stand the sun. What y'all about to do outside? You can't stand the sun. And then inside with the food, you can't see sun. So you see what I mean? It'd be useless. It'd be useless for us to do that shit, okay? But that would be the reverse racism that you're trying to play. And if you don't understand what I'm trying to say, I want you to go look at them fucking names that he listed on that list, and I can explain to you why it don't make no fucking sense. Because Deja is French. Look at that list. Because ask yourself, how did black people, black descendants of slaves, come upon them names? I can tell you how. Deja is French. That is Haiti, and that is enslavement in Haiti and Louisiana, okay? The Latin names, okay? The Spanish names that are on that list, the Spanish names that are listed on that Spanish, that is enslavement throughout all of Latin America, where black people were enslaved, including the indigenous people of there. That's how they came upon them names. And then the English names that are listed on there, that is enslavement in the United States and Canada. Okay, by the way, I forgot the French were actually up there too. They're too acting a fucking fool. Okay, that's how black people, descendants of black African slaves, got them fucking names. Those are European names. They are white names. So let me just rephrase his video so it make fucking sense. Okay, fucking sense, and take his ass back into his house so he can stay out of black people's houses and it can make sense. Okay, white names given to the most black people that are descendants of slaves. They got them names because white people enslaved black people and beat their fucking native names out of them and then gave them their names to pass down through enslavement and then to their descendants. That's how the video would make fucking sense. Okay, because there's actually only one name on that list that he is calling the blackest. That is not a white name, okay? And that is Imani. Imani is the only name on that list that does not come from white people. By the way, that's why some black people heard him say that blackish shit. And not only because of the fact that it sounded like that, it's for the simple fact that some black people are conscious enough to be aware that where them fucking names came from. And for a white man to get on the internet and shout that shit, it's a trauma in understanding that the names that we hold come from the fact that our ancestors were fucking enslaved by the same motherfuckers that are getting on the news and the internet, calling the very names that were beat into them the blackest names. Okay. Now I know you're still going to try to fight me in my comment section. I want you to know it has nothing to do with racism. I'm not saying any of that, but I will speak to the behavior, and the behavior that will send you back to argue with me, and the behavior I'm trying to explain is the lack of fucking humanity and empathy. Okay. Have a nice day. Have a fucking nice day.
I got turned down from a job because I'm white. They had to hire a black person, not speculating, reverse discriminated against. I like how you typed out the word white, but you put BLK for black. Interesting. So I guess you're saying that you experienced reverse racism, right? Well, let me explain to you how that was not reverse racism. It wasn't even reverse discrimination. You see, that company that you were applying to work for most likely has an all-majority white staff and personnel. So to keep said company from being sued for discrimination because they do not have a black or brown person on their staff, they then had to hire a black or brown person to keep them from getting sued. Because as long as there is a black or brown face working for that company, they cannot be sued for discrimination. Because due to actual racism, for the longest time, companies have been trying to hire all white personnel. It wasn't because you were white. Let's be real.
Use of the term reverse racism is one of the weirdest ways that people acknowledge that they believe the status quo for racism is that it is something white people inflict upon others, and that if a white person is the victim of racial prejudice, they view it as such an aberration that they call it reverse racism. If you really believed that racism is something that everybody engages in and anybody can experience, you wouldn't assign a directional flow to it.
So this is all I got from this, and the truth is that I really don't know how they came about reverse racism, because I've been able to check it out, and some of them also confirmed by themselves that there is nothing like reverse racism, but just that they couldn't hold it anymore. It's you know how hurt they are each time you tell them about their racism attitude and all the how racist they are and the rest of it. They really become very defensive and all that. And the next thing you hear them say is that that there is reverse racism, and then you talk about prejudice and all that, and they actually do not want to know, read or understand about it. That you do not have the power to be racist to them. And we've talked about all this, I have said this several times here and all that, but one thing will link to another and it keeps popping up. And you all remember that I brought a video here about a colored man saying the blackest name, right? And black people were kind of not having it. You all saw the video already, because I was also wondering who actually told him about what is blackest name, because I haven't heard something like that. For him to come up to tell me that the blackest name, was actually incredible. Who gave him the names and how did he come about being the blackest name? So black people started speaking up only for them to say that we are that black people, are always use the reverse racism and all that, saying that black people are very mean and they are racist towards them. And I am saying, how did you leave the person that did a video about people that look like me saying some certain things? And that video is actually not nice. If he decided to talk about black girls' names or black boy names for black boys, black girls, things like that. And I am sure nobody would even come out to say anything, because who really likes trouble? Who want to wake up every day to some everyday drama and all that? Of course, nobody likes that, So I am sure nobody would have complained. But for him to come up with the blackest, what made it blackest? How did, it's really amazing how they forgot about, I am sure they are not forgetting, but, they always have this, selective, what do they call that again? When you decide to forget some certain things at a particular time just because you want to forget it. I can't remember, but I know it's selective something. If you remember that, please just let me know in the comments section. But if I remember it as I keep talking, I definitely will tell you about it, So we are not cool with that. And all of a sudden they say, how come? You can imagine somebody hurting you and not wanting you to speak, They did something, we are not cool with it, and we complained that this is not cool, and they said it's reverse racism. And what made it reverse racism? And I love how the First Lady explained it. How are you going to feel if you are being enslaved, if you were picked up, the whole how slavery came about and all that? Strip off all your, man, this is really one of the most barbaric something about slavery. Those people, I really don't want to talk about it, but I don't want to go into it, And when you talk about it and they're like, why do you have to talk about it? Bringing people off where they are from, strip off their names. How did they do that? Strip off their cultures, wipe away everything, remove all their names, put them in plantation, and tell them you don't have to speak your mother tongue anymore. You have to start learning another tongue, right? And then different Bible was introduced to them, different things, and the rest of it. So what if we do that, this is what I want to, the reverse. What if, you see the reason why they are so scared of losing anything, especially when it comes to power. I am sure black people do not care, but, they are so scared that revenge is eventually going to come and, it might not pay well. And you see the reason why they are so scared that their population is going down every day. And they also need to reserve their race because, the race aren't investing anymore. So they feel like someday these people are definitely going to do us the same thing we did to them. So for that reason, if you look around, they are trying so hard, like, trying to cover up every space they get and all that, right? Because they do not want anybody to, because that minority, the way they say it, we do not want to be the minority. Or sometimes they say like, we are being treated like the minority. And then I ask, so you all know that the minority, that there is a way that they are being treated. So they know. So that tells you a whole lot about the people you are dealing with, because sometimes some people tend not to but there is something that I sometimes, if you decide like you do not want to take some certain things serious, especially when it comes to race, history, and all that, you might end up repeating it. Because some people are usually like, can we just get over the whole thing because it's been long ago, and I don't want to live in the past and all that. Nobody's asking you to live in the past. But one thing you must not forget is your history, because most times when people forget their history because they want to move on, because they want to move past it, right? It ends up haunting them, or the same thing that happened back then ends up repeating itself. And you know how horrible it's gonna be when something repeats itself. So I think everybody really got to be woke. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.